Lawrence Stroll's Aston Martin and the master engineer Adrian Newey have finally teamed up to create the new powerhouse for the upcoming regulations era. This thrilling project raises the question of which two drivers will lead Aston Martin's charge. Lawrence has always been both supportive and resistant to the idea of dropping his son, but if they're aiming for serious success, will he finally decide to let his son go? Adrian Newey's contract is signed and he's officially joining Lawrence Stroll and his ambitious project at Aston Martin. He was reportedly close to heading to Maranello to work with Fred Vasseur, but Ferrari's pursuit eventually fizzled out. According to Autosport, Ferrari cooled on the idea once they realised they didn't want to get into a bidding war with Aston Martin. Initially, Ferrari was heavily linked with Newey after word spread that he was leaving Red Bull, and the team seemed ready to go all in. Sources say team boss Frederic Vasseur had the budget lined up to bring Newey on as a consultant, with plans for him to work out of the UK rather than move to Italy. It would have been similar to their previous arrangement with John Barnard, who operated from his office in Guildford with engineers assigned to his team. However, Aston Martin came in strong with a huge offer, and Lawrence Stroll personally pitched the role to Newey. A private tour of Aston Martin's cutting-edge Silverstone headquarters made it clear the team had serious ambitions. Stroll, always the savvy dealmaker, was very confident about securing Newey, telling Bloomberg, "Adrian and I have been not only talking for months, but actually for years. Adrian is clearly the most talented and gifted figure in Formula One, based on his track record and history, in addition to being a hell of a gentleman. So I'd be very excited for Adrian to join our team, as I think every other Formula One team on the grid would feel exactly the same." In the end, Ferrari decided not to match Aston Martin's massive offer, which was rumoured to be around $100 million over 3 seasons, plus performance-based bonuses. Instead, Ferrari chose to focus on reinforcing their internal structure. Joining Adrian Newey at the top of Aston Martin's technical team is Andy Cowell, the man who was instrumental in Mercedes' dominance from 2013 to 2020. Cowell is set to take over as Aston Martin's CEO this October. Enrico Cardile, who was Ferrari's technical director, is also coming on board as Chief Technical Officer. Plus there's Dan Fallows, who joined Aston Martin from Red Bull in 2022. These high-profile hires are just a part of the bigger picture. Aston Martin has also been bringing in key mid-level engineers, names that you might not see in the headlines, but are absolutely crucial to their strategy for leading the grid. There are some rumours circulating online suggesting that Adrian Newey might be acquiring shares in Aston Martin, but that's yet to be officially confirmed. With the new regulations on the horizon, Aston Martin is poised with an edge that only a few teams can match, making them very serious contenders. If this all sounds a bit familiar, that's because we've seen a similar situation to this before. Remember when every top team was trying to recruit Lando Norris? Despite McLaren's ups and downs, Lando stayed loyal. Why? Because Zak Brown made him a bold promise, a championship-winning car by 2025. And now Zak is delivering on that promise, even ahead of schedule. Lawrence Stroll is taking a page out of Zak Brown's playbook, but he's aiming even higher. Just like Zak built a dream team, Lawrence is assembling his own squad of superstars. What sets him apart from McLaren, though, is that he's got Fernando Alonso. While Norris is still chasing his first title, Alonso is a seasoned world champion who thrives under pressure. The focus here isn't just on Lando, but on the broader challenges both Aston Martin and McLaren have faced in their quest to build a championship-winning car. Now, all eyes are on Adrian Newey and his blockbuster move to Aston Martin. With Fernando Alonso's influence and Newey's wish to stay closer to home in the UK, everything has lined up perfectly. At Aston Martin, Newey will have a much more hands-on role compared to his limited duties at Red Bull, where he was mainly focused on their hypercar project. BBC Sport actually reports that Newey has signed a 5-year contract with Aston Martin worth up to £30 million annually, including bonuses. Expect the official announcement to come soon, likely at a press conference at Aston Martin's base in Silverstone. Adrian Newey, hailed as one of the greatest F1 designers of all time, boasts a staggering record with 12 Drivers' Championships and 13 Constructors' titles from his stints at Williams, McLaren and Red Bull. His expertise is particularly sought after when new regulations roll in, making his timing absolutely perfect as he's set to lead Aston Martin's development for the 2026 season. When Newey officially takes the reins at Aston Martin in March 2025, he'll be steering the team into a new era of regulations. However, the road ahead won't be always a smooth ride. Lawrence Stroll's squad hasn't quite hit the mark this season, and 2025 isn't expected to bring any dramatic changes either, as the next car will largely build on this year's design. So all eyes are on 2026. Aston Martin has lined up all the right elements: top-tier talent, state-of-the-art facilities and Newey's legendary expertise. But having these assets, of course, doesn't guarantee success. It'll be crucial how well they utilise these resources. Stroll and the F1 world will be watching closely, but whether Aston Martin can truly rise to the top will depend on their ability to execute. Despite all the major moves Lawrence Stroll has been orchestrating behind the scenes, there's still, of course, one glaring issue in his master plan, and that is his son, Lance Stroll. Aston Martin has shown flashes of brilliance, but has also been inconsistent over the past 2 seasons, with Lance consistently trailing behind Fernando Alonso. Newey, known for his high standards and desire to work with the best, might not be thrilled about teaming up with Lance. Given the current dynamics at Red Bull, it's logical for Aston Martin to target Max Verstappen. A pairing of Alonso and Verstappen would create an exceptional lineup, strong not just on paper but in reality, far more formidable than Verstappen alongside Lance Stroll. With no personal connections to the Stroll family, Newey would likely be pushing very hard for the Alonso-Verstappen duo. It's probable that most of Aston Martin's key figures would back this move too, as it would yield better data and enhance car development efficiency. Lance, known for struggling under pressure, might struggle to keep pace if Verstappen joins the team. As Alonso's career in Formula One nears its end, you can bet he'll be fully committed to helping Aston Martin transform into the powerhouse they're aspiring to be. However, his continued drive and motivation will hinge on having a top-tier car and a stellar team of engineers behind him. And Aston Martin can certainly provide that. They're also positioning themselves to potentially bring Verstappen on board at the earliest opportunity, most likely in 2026. While 2025 might not bring dramatic changes for either Verstappen or Aston Martin, the rest of the grid isn't sitting idly by. Teams are rapidly closing the gap with Red Bull, and even before the new regulations kick in, Red Bull's grip on dominance could face serious challenges. Verstappen, already showing signs of frustration with the RB20's development, might view this as the ideal moment to seek a new challenge, potentially opening the door for a move to Aston Martin. Adrian Newey is widely hailed as the greatest car designer in F1 history. His record speaks for itself, but Newey's reputation isn't just about the numbers, it's also about the innovative thinking that defines his career. He's seen as a visionary in many respects. Lawrence Stroll is betting on these unique attributes. Stroll believes that Newey's expertise will be the finishing touch to his massive investment in the team's facilities and staff, totaling hundreds of millions. Stroll is convinced that Newey is the key to turning Aston Martin into championship contenders in just a few years. Although, of course, it is a very costly decision, it's based on years of proven success. In F1, Newey is as close as you get to a guaranteed path to victory. Technically, his strength lies in deciphering complex regulations to unlock maximum performance, with aerodynamics being his primary focus for achieving success in F1. Stroll is also known for making bold decisions to keep his team at the top, but there's one tough choice he might be hesitant to make: replacing his own son. Demoting Lance Stroll and admitting he's not living up to expectations may well just be a step too far for him. However, if Stroll wants to bring together Adrian Newey and Max Verstappen, he might have to make that very difficult call. So the big question remains, who will be the two drivers leading the revamped Aston Martin? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and once you've done that, check out the video that's appearing on your screen right now.